No, Marcy, you weren't there, right? Okay. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, on roll call, Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Here.
Mrs. Geldbaugh.
Here.
Dr. Lewis.
Here, but wish I was still in Chicago.
I get you on that one. Mrs. Rankin
Here.
and Mr. York.
Here.
I'm going to do this all.
Okay. All right, the minutes. Any questions regarding the minutes, please? Are we all good with the minutes? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hearing no objections, motion and a second, please, to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
One of those.
Are you objecting, or are you just?
I'm all for it.
All right. Mrs. Brown Knight. Mrs. Geldbaugh. Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes.
Bless you.
All right, in communications, we'll start with Police Chief Hines. Are there any questions regarding the chief's report? Chief, do you want to make any comments regarding your report? Looks rather straightforward. All right. Any questions? Obviously, you can call the chief at any time. All right, moving on to the Assistant Fire Chief Copeland. Where's Dan? There he is. Yeah. Any questions regarding Chief Copeland's report? Dan, you have any comments to make or anything you want to add? Good report. Okay. All right. Service Department, Mr. Scherpenberg. Nothing at this time. All right, looks like you've been busy, though. A lot of activity going on this time of year. Grass cutting and all? Yes, grass looks good.
So tell us how the grass cutting's going.
Going, looks
That's
good.
my next question.
It's going.
So yeah, last week was trying to keep up because of the rain and stuff. We'll catch up this week. So we broke it down to 4 sections, so that's helping out quite a bit. So we're getting into the busy season, so we'll see how this couple of weeks go. So
Is your department strained?
yes,
How
I have
do
one
we
man.
fix
I have
that?
one guy off.
I
So
think your department's probably strained before you had one guy off.
So what's going on with the help?
So most of them have classes they're finishing up here in March, or March. So hopefully after they get done with all their classes that they're doing, some have already expressed interest in coming to help out, so.
Okay,
We'll wait
so
and see
that's
what-
still on track
Yes,
to,
we're hoping, yes. So-
okay. So that hopefully will rectify it.
So,
Well, I mean, you're not experiencing a pinch per se. I mean, our guys are basically able to more or less.
mow
for-
grass, yes.
Yeah, for the weather.
But you're down a guy long-term or short-term?
Just short term, hopefully, so,
Hope so.
but,
But the next question is what things aren't getting done because you're mowing the
well,
grass?
see, right now we're getting into the busy season, so now we're gonna
Right.
find out. So, we're already putting all the sprinkler system, backflow devices out, so they can get tested. And then mulching will be coming up on top of all this other stuff, so, and curb repair, trying to finish up some of that stuff and some of the sewers that we started already, so.
You may
We're
have
getting there.
told me, but did we ever get a rain sensor for the concourse?
No,
Okay.
not that I know of.
Okay.
We're gonna buy some mulch, though, by the bulk, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Will it be the brown stuff or the black stuff?
black.
Black. Okay, because Maddie and I put about 50 bags worth of it down on the Murray Path last weekend, but it was brown. And we were kind of hoping.
You're gonna have to pick that back up.
Well, I saved the bags.
Yeah. I mean, if we have to get some brown for Murray Path and finish it off, we can do it
Finish
that
it
way.
off.
The rest can be black. Nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because it was really looking good over there. I want to thank a bunch of the volunteers that, all we did was basically drop the bags off, and we had some other volunteers, to spread around for us.
Mm-hmm.
Very helpful. Okay, so we're moving on that
So, yeah,
direction.
so I got the backflow covers. I picked those up last Friday up
They
in
were-
Bedford, Ohio,
To be painted or from the paint?
from the painter.
From the painter?
Yeah, so we'll get the pads all put out and then put those on.
Yeah. What about the valves themselves?
We just put those on today.
Oh, you put them on
So I have to
today?
call Waterworks so they can take the locks off the valves underneath there because
So
those all been
we'll
locked out.
be able then to water over there
Yes.
off the hose bibs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as I
Because
can
it's
get 'em
been so
tested.
dry of late. We're going to want to water.
Yeah. Well, I have to get that all tested first for Waterworks, so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So when do you anticipate getting to the mulch? Because I think the parks are ready for
Yes.
mulch.
Yeah.
So hopefully next week. We always try to do it the second, or the third week of May.
So that's
So
pretty,
everything's
that's
ready to
typical.
go before Memorial Day,
Okay.
so
And then what about the fire hydrants on Wooster?
I have no idea. We've got a guy that's gonna allow us to rent his machine,
Oh, so we did that. Good.
so, and then I've got already in touch with Amberley about the stub hub.
When you
Right
say his
now, we're
machine,
starting
you mean the Bobcat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
it's a Kubota, they got a Kubota.
Oh,
they're gonna
okay,
let us
okay.
use, so Dan can talk to you about that. That's
Okay.
his buddy. We're working on the poles today and tomorrow and hopefully finish up by the end of
How
the
many
week.
how many did he get done today? Did he get
Two.
Two done today?
Yes. So I'll shut down Worcester Pike at West Street tomorrow, and run everybody down West Madisonville and back over to Plainville. And then when it goes down to do the two on Plainville, or Worcester, I'll shut it off at Plainville and run them around Chestnut and back to Oak and back in.
When you say you, are you having police help on that, or you?
No, we're just gonna do
cones
detour
up there?
signs, yeah,
Okay.
that way we're not tying them up. Yeah, well, where they were today, we didn't have to do anything, so I'm hoping we can get up on, maybe on the sidewalk at the elementary school, and he can back up and do that one without shutting it down. That's what I'm hoping, so we'll try to do as much we can without doing it, but we have to block it, we'll block it. And detour
So they'll likely
everybody.
finish this week.
Yes,
Good.
so,
How many do they still have to do?
6, I believe, so,
Well,
That's
two a
nice.
day, about 2 a day.
yeah, 2 to 3, depending
Yeah, depending.
how bad it is, I has to scrape and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And John, I'm sorry, when did you say you're gonna do the mulch? Because we can go back around.
Next week,
Next week?
yeah, so,
We'll go back around and just double check.
yeah, and then we'll get the turf or the Treflon down
Okay.
and do all that, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
thanks, John. Don't go far, though. All right, Mr. Barlow, everybody seen his report? It kind of looks like what, some of the tax receipts are slightly up here. We're a little ahead,
Yes,
yeah?
that would be, we should be, because of the last 2 years of COVID, in 2020, taxes were due July 15th, last year was May 15th. So we're back to normal in April, so we needed to have those numbers. So
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident about it.
Yeah.
We'll know more July, that'll get through the sliding scale of due dates, but yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, okay, okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Everett? Okay.
Well, actually, I do have one question. Do we anticipate any impact with the idea that if people are working from home, that comes?
That's the big question this year everywhere.
Yeah.
We'll see where it shakes out. I'm feeling good because we're up, so we haven't taken a big hit of losing people. I think we've had, been here 9 weeks. I've probably had 20 new withholding accounts set up for folks working from home here in the village.
Right.
From other cities, so
I would
if,
anticipate.
if
the
we can be on the
city-
upside
yeah.
of that number, it'd be great. I
The
think
city
we-
is anticipating a shortfall, and I was expecting this,
Yeah.
kind of the outer
It-
ring to,
Yeah, so hopefully,
Well,
yeah, it would be nice. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, again, we have the communications from Cassandra Nordtecker. I'm not really sure, I'm probably not saying that correctly. This is the capital programs, the administrative from ODOT. Apparently, we'll get to that in a minute. We've got the legislation. I guess we had some kind of a standard form or something. This is to get, this is about the signage, I think it is. The ham signs. I mean, can you help me out here? I mean, am I telling you a story correctly?
Yeah. This is an ordinance authorizing ODOT to come in and replace the regulatory signs along Worcester Pike, as well as lane lines, which, a center line, lane line striping, stuff like that.
Though, you mean they're going to be repainting or refreshing what is there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the immediate project is just for signs, but the ordinance allows them to do striping as well.
Yeah.
But it probably won't be this year.
Okay, okay. The signs will be this year.
Yeah, I believe the signs will be this year.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll be passing that later when we get to it. Listen. Did I miss the building commissioner?
Yeah, you did. He's mad, mad, mad.
So sorry about that, yes. I've been trying to build a solid relationship with the guy since he got hired on. But, all right, Rod, do you have anything to tell us about the building report? Looks like we've been busy.
Yeah, April was a busy month. May looks busy as well.
Okay. Now you know why I skipped it.
Do you feel like you're getting notifications when people take down a tree? I mean, I know there's no fee, but you like
Yeah, I'd
to.
say trees are, I think, one of the better things that are in compliance. I'd say I miss outdoor, and there's an article in the town crier, patios and pavers and those kinds of things. I think I miss a decent amount on, and simple, small home renovations are probably the two areas that I'm probably missing more permits than normal.
Yeah, makes sense.
But trees, it seems like people have been pretty good.
Cool, good.
I think between Shawnee, Davey, Madison, I think they're all kind of, John B, you know, I think they're getting the idea of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
file.
It was a good article in the town crier. I would encourage everybody to take a look at it. It's a good refresher in terms of, just what is required permit-wise, even for things that you think are simple. You may not need a permit for it, but you probably do. And
Just a nice little refresher for people.
it's a good refresher, and of course, Mr. Holloway is there to help us. So, thank you, Rod.
And you moved up to page 5. I saw that.
All right, now we have some special spending requests from Mr. Scherpenberg regarding the new vehicle and I believe a truck bed as well, correct? You want to tell us about that just a teeny bit?
Well, this is what we talked about in the permanent improvement, about getting a new truck this year. So Rush Truck had a truck already pre-built. By the time I responded to them, signed everything, somebody beat me to it by 9 minutes and brought a check in. So that truck was gone. But the good news was they had an extra one on order in May, which beats the deadline in June where everything goes up 20 to 30%. So we'll be under the old contract. So I'll just get the basic truck, the 450 from them. And then Coffenberger, we will contract out for the dump bed and the other stuff, the lighting and everything like that, the plow and hydraulics.
Okay, so the bed, the $45,000 stainless steel
Yes,
bed
yes.
is for the new chassis that we're buying.
Correct.
That
So
we're buying.
that's the bed, the snow plow, all the hydraulics,
Oh, it's,
the lights, everything, all the bells and whistles that come on the truck.
okay.
The bad news is, the hydraulics, they called me and said the hydraulic lines and all that stuff is 22 weeks out.
Uh-huh.
So we should have it by the end of the year. We're hoping by October to have the whole thing completely built by October.
Okay, well, will we
So-
be able to put the bed on the truck, but we just won't be able to dump it?
No. Once we get the truck in, we're ready to go. Once they have the bed and everything, we just have to wait for the hydraulic system.
Right.
Once the hydraulic system comes in, they can put
They'll put
the
those
bed and
together.
everything all together, and we'll be ready
Yeah,
to go.
okay,
So,
okay. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
The bed doesn't go until hydraulics.
correct.
I thought maybe you were going to put it on, wait for the hydraulics or something like
No,
like
no,
that.
no,
So
no.
you could at least drive it around and,
No, can't do that.
Yeah.
They had one that was electric bed, so I don't want an electric bed.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
not for
yeah,
all
you
the
don't
weight
want-
that
you
we
don't want
have.
that. Okay.
So,
So between the 94 and the 45, that's the total cost of this? this
yeah.
new
So that should be.
It's 94 and, I thought it was 49 and 45.
It is 49 plus the
Yeah,
45.
45 plus
Yeah.
94?
94
No.
altogether.
94 altogether.
Altogether?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is an altogether.
So we had 107 put aside.
The page before it has the altogether number. The
So-
total is.
We had 107 put aside, so we're underneath that.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And this will be gas, it won't be the diesel.
Yeah.
So we're trying to stay away from the diesel.
Yeah, boy, I know diesel, really expensive right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I
really
got another
expensive.
truck going down, so.
Yeah, okay. And then we're, apparently there's another $15,000 thing in here for the trees?
Yes, we have 60,000 in the budget for the trees. And that's just part of the first year of tree trimming and removing about 20 trees,
Okay.
so.
And Randy, I think you asked me.
Yeah, that's Dale Parks on
Yeah,
here.
it's in there. Auditor's report. Tony, do you have any comment to make about that, or?
Yeah, just that receipts were way up this month with the real estate tax coming in. So we started the month at 2.3, now we're at 2.7. So, but, you know, that only comes in twice a year. So we gotta, you know, spread that, you know, that, we'll spend that over the next several months until the next one comes in.
Yeah. All right.
But it's likely our revenues will be higher than budgeted.
There's a good chance.
mean,
with-
Chuck
with-
had
with-
20
with-
new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But like I said, you know, it's hard to tell yet with the different tax dates.
Right,
with
right.
April versus May. We'll see what happens next month, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not.
All right, moving on. Permission to address council. Anyone wish to address council tonight? No? Okay. All right. Gee, we had the timer all set up and everything.
go.
Tonight, we were prepared.
Next, we're gonna get one of those canes, like in the old vaudeville show.
Ooh, I just got stuck in the side. All right.
The gong show.
Any question regarding the bills? No? It's fairly straightforward, this,
It's
time.
not on this one, but I was reviewing, it was fertilizer that got charged to the pool. Should that all be,
Well, there's. So, yeah, the pool had its own section. So we have somebody come down and they fertilize the pool. We have that same person fertilize the village. So it's all in different sections.
but we break the expense out
Yes.
separately?
Yes.
Yes. But it's the same, who's doing this?
Right now it's Swisher. It's
Swisher,
an organic
yeah.
company, yeah.
all right, so do they fertilize all the green spaces?
Not everything, no, just certain ones.
So which ones do they fertilize?
The square, the islands, everything that has sprinkler system,
Okay.
basically.
So do we treat the ball fields at Dale Park, I'm sorry, at Dogwood Park differently
Yes.
than we do?
Yes,
So are those fertilized and is there weed?
yes.
Okay, what
We
about
prevent-
Center
It's a
Street?
4-step program over there that we use.
What about the Center Street Island? Does that get,
I don't know if we have center back on there or not. It's changed over the years, so I have to go look and see which
you
one's
know, I
right.
think it needs it,
Yeah.
if we could get that.
Because it used to be the
back.
homeowners, some of the homeowners were doing it over there, and then that changed and we were doing it. But I don't know if we changed it again, if we kicked that one out or not, out of that last round. So,
Yeah, because
because
I
we used to
know,
do Ann Button Becker, then we kicked that out because someone complained about it, so. I'll double check what we got, what the updated list is.
so is
can't recall
it
offhand.
important that has water, a sprinkler system to fertilize?
It helps, so.
I mean, I was just wondering if you could fertilize it early while it's still wet.
Right.
While we're, you know, to.
Hey, let me ask something, because I got to ask it now, because I'll forget this. We were over in front of the statuary earlier today. There seems to be a sprinkler system in the one little small plot directly in
It's
front.
throughout the whole area.
Oh, it is? Well, we couldn't find any of the heads. What, have you been over there cutting them off with the lawnmowers?
Yes. No, they haven't been charged up yet and cleared out yet, so grass does grow over the winter time.
Okay,
and
so
stuff,
that entire grassy area in front
yes.
of is
From the
sprinkled?
sidewalk all the way on up and over to the next sidewalk,
Yeah, okay.
so,
Yeah, and just because I'll forget this too, the hose bib over there by the fountain,
yes,
it doesn't work.
you're on the wrong one,
Was there another one?
yes,
Okay.
so. Or we have it turned off because of the winter.
Well, no, I mean, it's just that the connections look so shoddy, you couldn't hook anything up to it. I don't think you
So
can.
that might be the old one,
Yeah, okay.
So-
Well, this is the one right at the base of the fountain.
kind of like the one at the pool that didn't work.
Yeah,
because they
there's
snapped the
a
top-
lot of those.
Yeah, because they snapped the top off when they
Yeah,
used it
okay.
last time.
All right, I'm mentioning it now because
Okay.
I'll forget it later.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. But Randy, that kind of answers the question about the sprinklers.
Yeah, well, last, is the bathrooms at the bell tower and at the tennis courts open?
Yes.
Both open?
Yes.
So what was our, because I think the bell tower is supposed to stay open year-round.
That's
Now.
the
Now.
goal.
Now that it's
Okay.
been heated.
All right, so moving forward, it'll be open year-round.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Right, and then it's, what, mid-May till October on the tennis courts?
Yes.
Roughly? Okay.
Yep. It depends, it just depends on the weather. If I look at the 15-day and we know we're not going to get a cold snap, we'll do over there. So we'll do it then. But like we just did it last week. I think he opened them up. Since we got this whole week, it's going to be good. I don't anticipate any more heavy frost or anything. So
Well, yeah, there's going to be some flexibility in that scheduling until we
Yes.
actually know that those heaters are going to protect the piping. Not so much in the restrooms themselves, but it's in the basement underneath. I think that heater on the wall down there is probably undersized, and there's other issues down there.
Yeah.
As to whether or not it's actually going to keep it from freezing.
so
But-
we'll adjust the heat on them now since
Yeah.
it's hot. in
Yeah.
there. So.
Yeah.
But the main thing is like with the flush valves, that they stay warm in there.
Right.
They don't freeze.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
that's the big part.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, motion to pay the bills. Did we already do that? We paid the bills?
No, we need a motion.
Second.
Second. All right, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll pay some bills. All right, looks like we've got 2 reports, maybe 3 reports.
Two from Health and Rec.
Health and Rec.
I'm sorry, I'm so worried.
The first one, okay, Health and Rec, developing scope of work for Crown Master Plan Study. The Health and Recreation Committee met on Monday, May 2nd, 2022 at 6:30 PM. Present at the meeting were Health and Recreation Committee members Randy York, Chair, Susan Brown Knight, Vice Chair, Leah Gelbaugh, Member, and Mayor Bill Brown. Also in attendance was Councilmember Rob Bartlett and Village Engineer Chris Ertl, and residents Matt Ayer, Linda Bartlett, and Greg McCotter. The purpose of the committee meeting was to prepare guidelines to be used for the preparation for a scope of work to study the Marymount involvement in the Crown Urban Loop Trail. The committee agreed that the following would be the guiding principles and the key priorities for the Marymount Crown Corridor Master Plan Study. Marymount Crown Corridor Master Plan Study. The purpose of the Marymount Crown Corridor Master Plan Study is to establish the level of participation and to determine the optimal integration of the Crown 34-mile urban loop trail into the village of Marymount. The study will determine the level of additional participation, if any, in the Crown Trail, and to offer a comprehensive analysis of alternatives of the Crown integration in Marymount from where the Crown Trail may enter to where it may exit the village. The Village of Marymount is currently not committed to any further expansion of the Crown 34-mile urban loop trail in the village. This study will determine if there is sufficient community support for expansion and to present route and design alternatives for the optimal benefit of the village. The primary responsibility of the study is to establish a process for community-wide engagement in every aspect of the study. Public participation and input is paramount. This will be accomplished by addressing the following priorities for the village. Number 1, public safety is of utmost concern to village officials, and the study will identify, detail, and mitigate any threat to public safety that the trail expansion may cause. Number 2, the expansion and stimulation of our business is a key factor when considering development of any public asset in the village. The study and design alternatives will maximize the potential positive impact of the Crown Trail on our business community. Number 3, the Village of Marymount believes in diversity and inclusion in all public projects. The village will give priority consideration to organizations with satisfactory diversity and inclusion practices. Number 4, the study will give particular attention and consideration to those residents who have properties adjacent to any potential path alignment. Issues such as impact on privacy and potential assumed responsibility and liability on a trail will be addressed. Number 5, the Village of Marymount is on the National Historic Register, and no Crown Trail alternatives or design elements will compromise that standing. The Health and Recreation Committee will define the scope and commission the study. They will review proposals and interview at least 2 firms. While commissioned and contracted by the village, the study will be funded exclusively by private third-party sources. These sources will reimburse the village for all expenses associated with the study. The Health and Recreation Committee will take guidance from the selected firm on makeup, process, and timetable for the study. The Health and Recreation Committee recommends that the members of the committee and at least 2 other residents be included, and that a final proposal/recommendation be completed by January 2023. The Health and Recreation Committee has updated an original scope of work document provided by village engineer Chris Earl to include recommendations for the inclusion of the guiding principles and priorities listed above, respectively submitted, signed by Randy York, Chair, Susan Brown Knight, and Lee Goldberg. Wait, I don't have the signed copy.
I have them.
All right, you've heard the report. Can we have a motion and a second to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? I think, Randy, I think you've really done a splendid job here of sort of outlining the expectations of what we would like to achieve with the study. Maybe you can tell us where we are in narrowing down who's going to do the study.
Well, we have done none of that.
Okay.
I did get 3 candidates with inclusion and diversity characteristics from Susan that we'd like to interview, or however that process is. And Chris hasn't even seen the updated scope of work yet. So I think the first step is for us to approve this, in kind, approve the scope of work, get that to Chris, have him review it, because he's done this, make sure that it's acceptable moving forward.
sure.
Because we're asking a lot, but we want to get this right.
You want to get it right.
And then at that point, we'll just move forward with contacting and interviewing. I will tell you, the 2 firms that you provided, I looked at them, and they both look terrific. They clearly have experience doing it. So for us now, it's to approve this, get the scope study to Chris, and then we'll move on finding firms and selecting one and getting this process moving.
Yeah, and setting dates for the public hearings. And
Correct.
Yeah, and so on and
Yeah,
so forth.
and our goal is to get that out as much as possible. And,
Right.
and frankly, it's going to be, part of what I put here is I want the 3 members of the Health and Recreation Committee to be a part of this so that we can get out ahead of it and schedule the public meetings, likely in this building, at a time when the most folks can participate. Because there's just a lot of buzz out there
Yeah,
about
sure.
this, and
Sure.
we just need to be
And
open to
Randy,
that.
if I may, I actually found 2 companies, and I just talked to Chris and Susan about it, through the city of Cincinnati. The transportation department gave me 2 names. So, and I was going to send you those 2. And I'll copy you and Susan too.
Awesome.
They may be the same ones. You never
Just
know.
one comment, Randy, regarding the public meetings. We probably want to give some thought as to how many people and if this room is.
We may need a backup.
Yeah.
If it's going to be, especially at the first one, if we think the numbers are going to get big,
And I think they will. at the
then we
first-
may have to consider, a different location. Yeah. Although, we can open the doors.
Yeah.
We can sort of utilize both rooms here, I guess, depending. Although I know there's an occupancy limit to these rooms. We want to be mindful of that. Yeah. But, yeah,
Just a
when we
thought.
get there, we can work on that. All right, any other comments? We all good? All right, on roll call, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
I guess, I already had the motion in a second. Mr. Bartlett, aye. Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Gelbaugh?
Well, now I have a question. So are
Okay.
we just talking about the scope of work? We're not talking about the application and all that anymore?
No, the scope of work is essentially just the outline for the study.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
agree with the scope of work.
Okay. Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll accept that report.
Well, probably until we find
Yeah.
a firm and get it started.
All right, good.
All right, Tony?
All right, Health and Recreation Committee regarding pool and tennis capital needs. The Health and Recreation Committee met on Monday, March 28, 2022 at 4:30 PM. Present at the meeting were Health and Recreation Committee members Randy York, Chair, Susan Brown Knight, Vice Chair, and Mayor Bill Brown. Also in attendance were Council Member Rob Bartlett, Marymount Tennis Association members Linda Bartlett, Carter Kemper, and Kevin Taylor, and Marymount Pool Commission members Mandy Rohal and Terry Donovan. The committee reviewed the projected 2022 budget for the Marymount Tennis Association. The committee projects that the budget will generate an operational surplus of $10,000 to $15,000 for 2022. It is recommended that these excess funds be directed to a designated and named capital improvement fund for tennis. It is estimated that a long-term maintenance schedule would require an annual capital allocation between $40,750 and $48,750 for the tennis courts. It was agreed that any funds allocated in the 2022 Permanent Improvement Fund for tennis that are not used would be assigned to the Tennis Capital Improvement Fund for 2023. The tennis budget does not include any contribution from the Marymount School District. The Marymount School District uses the courts an estimated 17.4% of available court time with women's tennis in the fall and men's tennis in the spring. Representative from the Health and Recreation Committee will schedule a meeting with the Marymount School District in hopes of determining a fair and equitable agreement on the sharing of longer-term court maintenance costs. The committee agreed that the current condition of the courts with significant raised cracks would need to be addressed this spring. The committee decided to only do a minor repair of the cracks this season with a repair/patch and paint approach. There were no current bid for this scope of work, so the committee authorized the evaluation and selection between at least 2 bids for this work at a cost not to exceed $10,000. The committee reviewed the 2022 pool budget. The budget projected an operational deficit of $58,875 for 2022. The committee recommended reductions to reduce the overall budget from $191,145 to $175,145. The committee recommended the purchase of replacement lab dividers for $3,200 and industrial refrigerator for $2,000. The committee recommends that the pool look into the use of the PNC credit card readers for snack bar purchases rather than utilizing the ESOF system. The committee recommends that the pool commission evaluate the efficiency of pool operations under Cincinnati Pool Management and evaluate memberships and attendance and open up the pool to residents outside of the village of Marymont. The additional memberships would be subject to an invitation from a current member at a premium rate to a resident membership. This would be a test for the 2022 season with limited memberships. Respectively submitted. And you had to sign?
I got it.
All right. All right. Signed by Randy York, Chair, Susan Brown Knight, Leah Gelbaugh.
All right, you've heard the report. A motion and a second to accept, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All right, any discussion here?
We are not going to do any repairs to the tennis courts this year. We couldn't find anybody, and it's really tough. The way the labor market is anyway. So we're going to just leave it. If it
So
gets
no
really
patch,
bad,
no paint.
we're not going to do anything unless it gets worse.
Okay.
And that's just because of ability of labor to do it?
Yeah. We would have had to, the idea is, let's move these funds to 2023 permanent improvement. Let's get out ahead of it and contract someone right now for a more major rehab of the courts before next season.
Right.
Yeah, get them lined up.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We have ongoing conversations with the Marymount School District, so we don't know.
Yeah, what they're.
Our hope is to get money from them for capital improvements.
Sure.
We did add $25 per camper or anybody that's in an organized, any family that's in an organized program at the tennis courts. And like I told you, we have a private resident that's going to match that. So hopefully,
Okay.
we can get 20, 30, maybe even more, 1,000, maybe even more than that in the fund for next year.
Yeah, this $40,000 to $48,000 that we're talking about, sort of trying to allocate for, annual capital allocation, I guess we're calling it, or something like that. How do we get that number? Is that the number spread over a number of years?
Yes, so every
for-
20 to 25 years, you need to scrape it and start over.
I know,
That's
but we're-
about $500,000.
Which we are now looking down the barrel of.
We're not gonna do that the next year.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, come next year, we're gonna be looking at what, to scrape it and repave it?
No, so I think next year the bids are around, 80 to 100,000 to
Yeah.
do the work for next year?
Yeah, so
Per
you do,
court?
you do a fix of about 80 to 100,000 every 3 to 5 years. And then every 20 to 25 years, you got to scrape it and start over.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So
yeah.
you put all that together and say, okay, if you divide, in today's
yeah,
dollars, it's
yeah.
about $40,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, trying to get out ahead of it and having this money set aside, going forward, yes, but right at the moment, we are facing down the barrel of a major scrape.
Right, and so think about it, we set aside 40,000, I think it was, Tony, in the permanent improvement fund for this year. That's correct. We're not gonna use it, so it's gonna roll over to the next year, and if we have the same amount next year, and we get some of the matching money and the additional funds that they're collecting, we could be pretty close without
Yeah,
having to do anything else.
if we end up with 60,000 or
Sorry.
more,
Yeah.
then we're talking about another 40
40.
for capital improvements next year, which isn't bad.
Well, no, it takes the sting out of it, for sure, yeah,
Yeah.
instead of, sitting here a year from now talking about,
Right.
$100,000 to do the tennis.
Right, no, there's a path, you can see
Yeah.
the path to it by not,
Okay, yeah.
rolling over this year's money to next year, same amount next year,
Yeah.
extra money from the participants in these
Okay.
clinics and things like
Okay.
that.
But, in a perfect world, we could cover everything, but we're not going
I know,
to. So we
I
just have to decide.
Yeah.
When I looked at it, I figured that it's probably going to be about $15 to $25,000 a year that the village would need to commit. And the tennis association would come up with the rest of it. I think that's worthwhile.
Yeah,
For
okay.
residents to have a tennis courts in, I think philosophically that fits.
Okay. Well, okay, that's great for tennis. Are we on some kind of a trajectory down at the pool? We are staring down the barrel down at the pool of monumental fixes.
There are, we are not doing any of the repairs
I know we're not,
this
I know
year.
we're not doing any of the pipe this year.
We're still at $175,000 to run it. I mean, I think we only, and I wanted to talk to you about this, I think they only put 100 in, the contract would say pulls 115, so clearly that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Their sign-ups so far are behind schedule. There wasn't a flyer, they didn't put out a flyer, I asked them to put out a flyer didn't happen. So I've not seen any of that. They're talking about extending it to Mary Elders. And I think we talked about it here in this forum, that we do have this third-party company now managing it. Do we let them get the feet under them, before we
first
extend
year.
it? I don't know how long we wait. Maybe give them a couple weeks, make sure it's running smoothly, and then we open it up. Because if we wait till July, who's gonna join in July? We'd have to prorate it. So we clearly need to do something, and we clearly need to get outside funding, because Mayor, I can't tell you what that number is. If I say that the tennis courts are 40 to 45, I have no idea what the pool is.
Well, I mean, we already know it's a huge number from just some of the estimates that we got to just do the pipe thing. And that was just one aspect of it. I know this, we can't get into the weeds having a discussion here tonight, but this is something that we do have to keep discussing.
I'm very pleased with how responsive the pool board has been.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a great job. I think they get it. That, maybe, again, I don't believe that the pool is gonna be self-sufficient. I don't think that's possible. There's no more municipal, there's one other municipal pool in the whole city. We're one of very few, and I think it's an amenity we want to keep. So again, it goes back to, we have to philosophically say, okay, what's it worth to us? Is it $50,000 a year? Is it whatever? And then almost work backwards. We'll see. The snack bar is going to be more efficient this year.
Yeah,
The pool, it looks great. We were down there Saturday planting some shrubs and stuff, so it really looks good. I'm disappointed that the signups are behind, but they didn't do a flyer, and I don't know if people react to flyers. They did something, so maybe we get a flyer and pass it out, because they said they're going to pass it out at the apartments to engage that group in all this. So I will tell you, I worked with Terry. I haven't had a conversation with Mandy. She's usually on top of all this.
Yeah, I know.
But invite Mary Elders first.
Yeah.
Because that's the right thing to do from a health and recreation standpoint. And then shortly thereafter, I think we need to open it up. And I think Ed looked at it and said, similar to how we do the tennis, a family can invite, another couple or another family and leave it at that.
Yeah. We have to have expanded membership.
And I will tell you, even expanded membership's not gonna get us there.
But I will say, again, and I think I mentioned this last time, expanded membership is not going to get us even close to the finish line. It has to have more community support. So the key is going to be, the determinant, frankly, is going to be whether community members vote with their feet. Yeah.
Their dollars. Yeah.
If we want to be members of the pool, that's going to be the key. I forget what the percentage is right now of folks that are members of the pool that live in this community.
That's about 20% or so. It's low.
Right. It's extremely low. So
that's not an exact number, but I mean, it's close.
So
It might be high.
It might be down. Yeah, well, I mean, if it is, that's,
Yeah.
so the pool lives or dies by whether or not this
yeah.
community decides to embrace it or not, I think, at the end of the day.
Okay.
So, but that's where I think, Randy, I just want to applaud your leadership here, because it's a lot of.
Well, the pool board too. I
yeah.
mean, they really have been doing.
Yeah,
They
Bill,
really
you remember
are
what it
doing-
used to be like. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is way.
Yeah, I mean, I've been attending, not all of their meetings, some of the meetings. I mean, it's always a good discussion. It's always lively. And we really do have some dedicated people. I think they're, really wanting to salvage the pool, save the pool, and really work on ideas to make that happen. So,
Good.
yeah.
They got some events planned. They're gonna do
Yeah.
a grand opening, an open house, invite residents down,
Food truck or two?
food truck or two.
Yeah.
So it's in the right direction, but again, we're looking at maintenance that hasn't happened in the last 15 to 20 years, so, it catches up to you at
Yeah,
some
it
point.
catches up, yeah. All right, any other comments?
I want to go back to the tennis just real quick.
Sure.
You said that conversations have begun with the school?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got a contact and meetings, okay, thanks.
Okay, on roll call, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll accept that report. And it can come off, yes? No?
Go ahead.
1 for 8, Randy.
All right, Tony, Finance Committee, I think, is up.
All right, from the Finance Committee regarding Marymount Healthcare Plan for 2022. The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 at 3:00 p.m. to discuss the healthcare plan for 2022 for full-time Marymount employees. Present at the meeting were Finance Committee members Rob Bartlett and Kelly Rankin, Joni Van Pelt, and Police Chief Rick Hines. Marymount currently participates in the Center for Local Government Benefit Plan, the CLGBP. This is a consortium of municipalities that pools their money to self-fund healthcare and dental care insurance. Haran administrators the plan and provide the committee with data on what other communities are offering their employees. Attachment A includes Marymont's current plan and the plans for some of the communities that we benchmark with on salaries. Marymount is aligned with other communities except for the Platinum A plan. Attachment B compares all communities that are using the Platinum A plan. The average employee contribution for Platinum A, excluding Marymount, is 13% versus 10% for Marymount. Marymount also has a lower HSA contribution rate from the village than the other communities. After some discussion, the committee agreed to recommend that the employee contribution for Platinum A premium be increased from 10% to 13%, and that the village's contribution to the HSA be increased from $1,000 to $1,100 for employee only, and from $2,000 to $2,200 for employees plus one. All other parts of the healthcare plan would stay as is. Because of the strong results for the consortium in 2021, the CLGBP approved a 0% increase for healthcare premiums and a 0% increase for dental care premiums for 2022. Changing the employee contribution rates and the village's HSA contribution requires a change to the salary ordinance for full-time employees. If council agrees with the Finance Committee's recommendations, the first reading of the new proposed ordinance will be at the May 9th council meeting. This enables the final reading and vote to occur before the plan is rolled out to employees on June 10th. The actual changes will go into effect in August of 2022, respectively submitted and signed by Rob Bartlett, Chairman, Marcia Lewis, and Kelly Rankin.
All right, you've heard the report. A motion and a second to accept, please.
So moved.
Second?
All right, discussion. Rob, you want,
I mean, we've been doing this benchmarking for 3 years now, and it's been really, really helpful for us to compare that versus others. So we've tried to be as data-based in terms of looking at other similar-sized communities around us and what they're doing, so that we're competitive with that.
yeah.
What's your question, Susan?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, come on.
Anybody else got any
Thank
questions? You look it over, we're kind of, yeah, I think we're,
Since I wasn't at the meeting, can you just clarify the +1?
So it's like, it could be employee plus spouse, employee plus
Dependent.
child.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Other
That's-
person covered.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
thought. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yep, you got it.
okay, anything else? We good? Yes? Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll accept that report. All right, miscellaneous. Village offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day, Monday, May the 30th. Memorial Day Parade will be held Monday, May the 30th as well. The parade's really shaping up.
Yay.
I'm doing a lot of work on this parade. Yeah, I want to see all your smiling faces there. Good parade. Village offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day on Monday, July the 4th. I think we're announcing this a little far ahead, but nevertheless. Village fireworks will be held at dusk. The fireworks this year will be on Monday, July the 4th at dusk. The budget hearing will be on Monday, July the 25th at 5:30. Are we good with the budget here?
Okay. And then the next one you can take off, because we already did it.
Yeah, we already did the last one. Yes, okay. All right, let's get started on these resolutions.
All right, first one, resolution authorizing mayor to execute contract with Choice One Engineers for the purpose of submitting a grant application for work in connection with the Murray Avenue multi-path trail.
Okay, that is the third reading. I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Geldbaugh.
No.
No? All right. Dr. Lewis.
No.
No. Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, that motion will carry. Okay, Tony, next one.
A resolution for the Village of Marymount to establish policies and procedures concerning the naming and renaming of village property.
Okay, that's the second reading. Do we have questions about this? No questions?
So, hey, Randy, real quick. So like, you know, in the past, they've had some people who did benches and then put nameplates on benches, I don't know, you know, different places. So that would fall under this then too, I'm assuming, right? Got it.
In plantings as well, any trees planted or
Okay.
Like the plaque,
any
Back on that.
rocks and plaques.
rocks and flags.
And then to Susan's concern about taking, taking a name away, do we have some?
Essentially, the narrative is unwinding exactly how we got there.
Got it, okay.
So it does start with someone, in writing to the mayor.
Yeah, stating a reason why they want to either change the name or take a name off. Yeah, okay.
So no Pete Rose Way?
Well, guess that,
There is a small typo in the removal of the naming right, number 6. If the committee recommendation is approved, a resolution will be prepared to revote. I think it's supposed to be revoke the naming right. See that, number 6?
Got it. That's not bad.
Oh,
is it significant or do we?
No, it's just a
typo.
letter, it's just.
Okay. All right, that's the second reading. We'll have
Perfect thing, Rachel.
we'll have the third reading next council.
Can I ask,
Oh, sorry.
no, this is just a quick question. If the, super minor, this probably applies to a lot of things. So if the mayor wants to remove a name, does the, is that, or can the mayor just skip some steps?
No, it's supposed to go through rules and law
Right, okay.
with
so
a
the-
public hearing, not
So
a
then
public
the-
meeting.
Okay, so, so then the mayor submits a written request to rules and law, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't irritate me. I'll be taking the
Okay,
name off.
I
the
know.
bench.
My name's just on so many things, yeah.
I wouldn't do it. All right,
Thank you,
again,
Mayor.
that was the second reading. We'll have the third reading
Okay.
next council. Tony?
Okay. Resolution to enter into project agreement with Kate Albert Studio LLC.
Okay, that's the second reading. Any questions? She was up in the office about 2 weeks ago, I guess, right after last council. I did meet her. I saw some preliminary sketches. I don't know, I'm kind of excited. I think she's going to do something good.
good to hear.
She was flying drones around.
Oh, really?
She's supposed to give us all that footage. She
Yeah,
said she
I think you're right, yeah. She's got a really kind of interesting approach to it. She flies the drone, she takes the pictures, because it is sort of an aerial view looking, down on the village, sort of capturing, a lot of our architectural, landmarks and features and things. Kind of interesting, so anyway. Again, second reading, we'll have the third reading.
I have just one question about that.
Sorry?
Hey, Randy, are we selling the painting to an individual? Is it going to be displayed in a public setting, or is someone actually where you're going to purchase it and put it in their home?
Yeah, they're going to make 10 first editions, 10 18 by 24 first editions, and 100 16 by 20 first editions.
Okay.
That'll be hand numbered and hand signed.
But is the original, is
And
there anything that it could be like displayed for a month somewhere so that people can
Well,
come see it? Or
I think the original is going to go on sale over at the gallery, is
Yeah,
it not?
the gallery, they're going
Yes.
to have an auction. They're going to put it out and have an auction. It
Yeah.
all depends on the timing of when she gets it done.
Yeah, because it'd be nice if everyone could go see it.
Oh, yeah.
Before it was,
Yes, they were terrific over there as far as they want
so
to,
they'll probably have a viewing over at the
Yeah.
gallery.
and then they're
That'll be
going to do an
nice.
auction. and they're
okay,
gonna
until-
Invite their, hoity-toity customers to participate.
I don't
They
think,
seem to think that,
I don't think you have to be hoity-toity. It's
Maybe
it's
you have
kind of
to be
straightforward.
hoity-toity to buy it.
Yeah.
Which is
Well, it'll
what
be
we
an auction. I
want.
mean, you want it, you bid,
Yeah.
so,
But we
yeah.
want them to,
Yeah.
we need somebody in there that's raising the paddles
Yeah.
to make it go up.
Yeah.
Just don't raise it one too many times.
No.
but thank you, Mayor. I think her work's terrific. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think it'll be a nice addition.
It'd be nice, yeah. All right, Tony? To amend section 151?
Section 151.087, permitted obstructions in required yards.
All right, that's the first reading. We'll have the second reading next council.
All right, next one, to amend R-14-22, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation and for permanent improvements and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
Okay, now, apparently we had the first reading of this.
Yeah, we had all three readings, and I sent it to the county, and they said I was missing some stuff. Basically, that third paragraph, last sentence, how it has to be, you have to say if you're taxing just part of the community or the whole community,
Okay.
and then what county you're in. So-
Okay. Well,
So
is
I
that-
just took the one from 5 years ago and updated the dates, but there's been some changes that we had to make, so.
Okay, well, I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for a second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, may we have the second reading,
All right,
please?
to amend R-14-22, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for permanent improvements and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
All right, any discussion or questions? I think we all understand this. We all know what this is.
Okay.
We good? Third reading, please.
To amend R-14-22, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for permanent improvements and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye,
Mrs.
sorry.
Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. Start putting up the signs.
All right, next one, resolution for consent for the project known as PID number 101029, county/route/section HAM signs, FY 2022, systematic sign replacement, general routes, and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
We just have the second.
Oh, we just have the
be
second,
third.
so it'd just be the third reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, may we have the third reading then?
Resolution for consent for the project known as PID number 101029, county/route/section HAM signs, FY 2022, systematic sign replacement, general routes, and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. All right, moving on to ordinances.
All right, first one, to amend section 37.06 of the Marymount Code of Ordinances, Tree Advisory Board.
Okay, that's the third reading. I need a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, well, that'll be accepted. Marymount Code of Ordinances, 151.
To amend Section 151 of the Marymount Code of Ordinances, fences and walls.
Okay, second reading. Are we all clear on this? We have questions on this? More or less? Are we all good? Good? Yeah, okay. Have third reading next week?
All right, next one to amend Chapter 152 of the Marymount Code of Ordinances, rental dwellings and units.
All right, that's the second reading. Any discussion on this?
I spoke to Ed this afternoon. Mark had sent some recommendations as far as, and as far as how we do this, at this point. There was a couple of comments, a couple of suggestions that I think that were, there definitely merited inclusion. One of them was a conditional permit will be valid for 30 days. I think Mark suggested, and I don't know who all worked on this, but I agree that it certainly in these times, an extension may be necessary to 90 days to get some work done. So I wrote up some language about, good faith effort and things like that. I don't think any of us would mind adding that language to this.
I've not seen everything Mark wanted changed. I just got it this afternoon,
Right.
really late from Randy. But whatever is in there that we think is reasonable, we can make an amendment to the ordinance. And some of the things, frankly, I disagree with, but we want to try to cooperate with these apartment owners, because especially guys like Mark, because we know he's good, and some of the other guys that have shown up. I called the Mount Healthy guy, but I can tell you that Mount Healthy case is pretty different from ours. It referenced the Portsmouth case, but it didn't make the corrections that we made from the Portsmouth ordinance. And then I did put in a call to the head of the fitting law firm, a governance committee. I talked to him this afternoon. He's out of town right now, but he'll be back on Friday, I think he said. So we're gonna get together just to make sure we're not doing anything that really is too intrusive for our property owners here. And keep in mind that a lot of the people in the governance law section of that law firm, they don't like, they're kind of libertarians, which is fine if you want to be that way, but they're very opposed to any type of government intrusion. And here we've got a duty to our citizens too, so we want to be as unintrusive as we can be with our property owners, but at the same time fulfill our obligations to all of our citizens here.
Sure.
So we want to do it right.
Will the extension be at the discretion of the building commissioner?
I will talk to
How will that
Roger.
work? He will already, he's,
And I've not discussed any of this with, because there's that one, and I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean,
no.
if you're making a good faith effort to get these corrections, if it's a roof and it's the middle of winter, you're gonna be able to get that done in 30 days. So I do agree with that. I have no problem adding that. There was also a comment about a formal process for complaints. I think Rod had talked about that, but I'd like to work with him and let's get that down in writing and share that with these apartment owners. There was another question about, do we give a greater discount for multiple units if they're all inspected as once? And I think we only had, 10% for 2 or more, and then only 25% for 5 or more. My guess is that if we've got expect there, we're gonna have savings anyway. So I'd like to go back to Rod and expect to talk about that, and if we could do a little bit better on that. I think that's a certainly reasonable request. And then the other one is on the due process, and this Portsmouth case, that was really the big thing. First off, they went in without a warrant, which we would never do. Well, we could voluntarily if the tenant agrees to it. But as far as the due process, as far as before any action is taken, so before we would revoke a rental permit, there needs to be, and we do have it in our ordinance, there needs to be a remedy or an outlet to dispute that. And this one gives 30 days. And I think that's troubling, because I think that could impact the 30 days is a long time. Okay. So I think that if we could look at that and squeeze that timetable down as far as providing a resolution, for them to get a remedy of.
Mark's email that you sent me?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the last one there, and then, I think that was really it, as far as, the things that I really thought that were great points that we should consider. And I can review the rest of this with you. A lot of it is referencing, the right to privacy and things like that, and again, I pulled, this is that, the lot decision from Portsmouth. I pulled it up and reviewed it today, and I mean, what they did was pretty egregious. And we're not doing anything, but I understand there's some great talking points in this summary judgment.
Right.
And it's like you pick out these talking points and it sounds great, but our ordinance is not really designed to be executed that way. If there is a dispute, if there is a tenant, not a landlord, that doesn't want us to come in, then we would need to get an administrative warrant, not a criminal warrant, but an administrative warrant.
Right.
So,
And did we outline what the
Probable causes, yeah.
well, not that. I mean, if they want to challenge the ruling, what is
Well,
the
that-
recourse?
yeah, that goes
I mean,
to
does it come
planning
before
committee.
council? Does it go before the
now it
planning
goes
commission?
to planning.
It goes to planning?
Where is that?
I mean, it's.
Yeah, the Village Planning Commission. Appeal it says within 30 days. And again,
Okay.
I'm not sure if that was even brought up. I just looked at it today and I thought, based upon the conversations I've had with a lot of these property, 30 days is, you could lose, a couple of tenants in 30 days. So, but it has to be reasonable for us to get the planning commission together and all of that. So, can we squeeze it down to 15 or 10 days? I don't know. We'll have to have that conversation.
Yeah. And was there going to be, I mean, I know you guys talked about, did you want some kind of like a standardized form that somebody would make the complaint on?
Well, the point I was making is that if you're gonna formalize the complaint process, you're gonna have to document things, names, dates, when, who filed it, et cetera, because if there's someone contests it, you're gonna have to come up with your documentation.
Right.
And so if you don't formalize this, it's gonna be a mess. A guy like Eddie would take you into court and flay you. So you wanna have your ducks in a row if push comes to shove. Especially if you're gonna expect a landlord to take a tenant and tell them they've gotta leave. The fur's really gonna fly in that situation.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm just asking, I know, because in the discussion that we had last week, there was talk about some type of a formalized document or form, whereby, certain, an outline of what it was and what the procedures would be.
It may be a form, or Ed may come up with saying, you've gotta have these 5 things present in an email, or someone's recorded it some way, somehow.
Okay.
Not necessarily a form. If you want to do a form, great. But then you have to keep it up to date, et cetera. And Eddie may say, you got to have these 3 or 4 or 5 things for a complaint to be valid. We need a name, we need a residence, we need, et cetera. What happened, when, and that could be an email, that could be a text. But that's all creates a record that backs up your case if push comes to shove.
Sure. Okay.
So that was the gist of the
Oh,
suggestion.
I agree with you. I think we want that.
Something like that? I thought Ryan.
I don't know. It's funny. I know him and I had talked about it, but I don't remember seeing it. So he may have it.
I think he told me he was going to
Okay.
do it, so I
Yeah.
think we should be in pretty good shape, but I think it's a good point. Mark.
Yeah, okay, well, it's something we'll look at.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I think that was the last.
So can I clarify, I want to ask you a question
more.
for clarity, okay? Randy, so you're talking about some significant changes, that, based on your conversations to this ordinance. So would these changes be incorporated with the ordinance as it is now, or would they be later resolutions, or?
I think what we probably have to do is, somebody has to make a motion to amend the ordinance, it's been read twice, and then we'll vote on that the next time out, and I'll have a new ordinance prepared to compare it to the old one here.
Yeah,
with
because
changes.
what I was going, I don't know that I'm comfortable, where I was going is I don't know that I'm comfortable voting on something until I've actually seen those changes in writing.
Yeah.
So that was my point of my question.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have it all done by the next council.
So I'll go ahead and make the motion to amend the ordinance then? Or is that where we are?
Well,
We'll do it at the next
we're
one.
not 100% sure we're going to amend it right
Okay.
now. I think we have to do that next week, and then we might have to delay the vote until the following meeting, but this thing's been hanging around for so very long.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real urgency to get it done within the next 2 weeks. And just so you know, I've got work out of town quite a bit over the next 2 weeks, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Quick question too. One of the things, we did this in the past that sometimes was, because we always, by law, you have to state old ordinance, new ordinance. Is there a way to highlight in the new ordinance the changes? Remember how we used to do that, like color it in yellow or something like that, so people could sort of easier pick it out instead of putting the two side by side and trying to figure out what exactly changed?
Don't I do that now? Don't we do that?
Well,
now?
the ones I'm getting here
Haven't been
don't
doing
have
that?
it.
Oh, yeah, I can.
That would be great if you
Yeah,
did.
it does make it a whole lot easier to,
Yeah.
because
See,
you're there
where-
trying to
where
go
is
back
the
and
change
forth.
exactly?
You're exactly right
Yeah.
about that.
So-
I thought we did that, but okay.
Yeah, we used to, and I think it's sort of
Okay.
fell off. So that would be really helpful, thank you.
I'll have my paralegal do that from now on.
Okay,
These are not big changes.
No,
These
no.
are just, there's minor changes, so I should get these back to you in the next couple of days, and we can circulate them around, and I would hope that we could amend and vote on this on our next council meeting.
okay. Tony, one more.
Okay. All right, to amend ordinance O-11-22, the Marymount Code of Ordinances to increase payment for employees.
Okay, first reading, we'll have the next reading next week, next council. All right, if everybody's in a mood, we'll run through the task force.
It's actually a task list, right?
Task list.
What are we on?
It says task
list or-
force.
Space Force, did you say?
Task list.
All right, somebody want to read it? You want to read it?
Sure, okay. So the first one was the 2021 financial recap to council with commentary explanations from Mayor Brown.
Okay, well, of course, we're in the midst of big changes there, so no comments on that just
Do
tonight.
we have a target date, though? This is the, how do we do in 2021? Trying to help people, council say, okay.
Well, I'll have a better feel for a target date, into mid-June, let's just say.
Okay, because I think that's, how we've, in each of the council agenda items, the committee items, we put a target date.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we should have target dates for all these as well. So if you can maybe next time get a target date for that thing.
I'll give you a target date.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So creating Village Foundation, Bill and Randy. that's
Done,
it.
done,
Done,
and
done, done. Yeah, we got a bank account.
We have a bank account, if you want to make a contribution.
Yeah.
Can I come off?
But is it a 501c3 then?
Well, the paperwork's been submitted, but it's gonna take, 3 months, or whatever.
So we're just waiting for paperwork to get processed now?
Yeah, but
So-
we can't, we have a bank account, we can accept contributions. I've got I'll pass this around, I've got some logos that we're working on.
How were the board members chosen?
We just asked folks.
Okay.
Volunteer, basically.
Can this come up?
Yeah.
Is
It'd
that
be good to let council know who the board members are, just to, at some point.
All right.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I'll
this,
send out a whole deal with,
okay, so this one's done? We can scratch that off? Because we're just waiting for the government to get back?
Well, we're waiting on the contributions to come rolling in. Yes.
Why,
we got,
so
we
there-
got,
there was in the
we
town
got
crier.
$1,000 in there right now.
All right, all right,
Town crier had a flyer built in there for that,
okay,
right?
all right.
Okay, so
All
then.
right, moving on.
For the next one, I think, Chris, this was about the getting reimbursement from Odnr. I think we're done with that, right?
The only thing that's outstanding, the majority of it is complete. What's outstanding is the lock boxes for the hose bibs and the striping for the crosswalks at Edith and Blaine. Now, the striping won't be done until July or August, so the next reimbursement won't be until September. But yeah, it's 90% complete.
Okay.
So
You want to leave it on?
I think
That's fine.
I think for now, just because we'll be able to, we're going to try and submit that for reimbursement as well?
I might as well.
Yeah.
We paid everything today, we might as well keep trying.
Yeah.
So the date should be, since it's September, October 2022?
Yeah, for final completion, yeah.
Okay. So you got that, Joni? We'll put that in September, October?
September 22?
October, it would be October because it would be submitted in September.
Okay.
The Boathouse. This one's got italics. This is a special one for you, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of funny this came up today because I got a estimate back from Imbus, who were the people that we contacted that Matt Ayer and I had talked with, gosh, way back in, I don't know, February, I guess it was. It's not good news. Not good news. He, in the interim time period, it was 5 months ago. In the interim time period, he's been out trying to find, replacement stone for that roof or something that would be a facsimile thereof, to make the repairs and so on and so forth, do flashing work around the chimneys and stuff like that. Anyway, $29,985. But now listen, I've got a big comment to make about this. I think there's a real opportunity here to save some significant money in that when they start the work on the church roof, and they're going to be taking a lot of Cotswold stones off, and I've already volunteered you and me to go over there and salvage some of that. No, well, I mean, I'm not really joking
I'm serious.
here.
I'll do it. I'd be happy to.
It's going to have to be crated and stacked and cleaned up and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of stone that's going to come off that roof, and with Mr. Scherpenberg's assistance, we can get one of the tractors to help us load it or do something. We still have some. But all I'm saying is that he is unaware that we're about to come into a substantial supply of Cotswold stone that could be used on that roof, which may cut this in half.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, write me down. I'd be happy to help out.
The original roof, just to be clarified, was not Cotswold stone.
No.
It was slate.
The original roof.
Yes.
Yeah, but what is up there now is stone.
Okay.
Yeah. The roof that was put on 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whenever it was put up. And he's been out trying to source what would, like I said, be a facsimile of Cotswold stone, because, Cotswold stone is almost impossible to get these days. Anyway, all I'm saying is that I'm a little more optimistic now that something can be done, with that
That's
roof.
great.
So what's on there now is Cotswold stone, or what is it's a stone product?
It's a
but not
stone
Cotswold.
product, yeah, that,
Okay.
as I understand it, was actually,
I think that's an excellent way to reuse.
oh,
that
yeah, to
other
reuse it.
material.
Yeah, tremendous.
And, it'd be a nice story.
So is there a target, do we have a target date for that one then, ballpark?
Well, they're going to start the roof work,
Church?
the church, late June, something like that, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is this like a September, October? Do you want to
Yeah.
target for that?
Yeah.
Put down September, October?
yeah.
So I have a question about this. So how big is the stone that's on there, that you're taking down? Yeah.
It really varies. It varies in thickness and it varies in width.
But is there a way to cut it in half? Like, but no, I'm saying because we've done, in construction, a lot of times you can shave it and then you'll have two pieces instead of one. Yeah, is there a way to?
Well, you take a wet saw. I guess you could wet saw
Well,
it in
you'd
half.
have to have some
But there's going to be a
professional do
huge
it.
variety that comes off. The way the church roof is built, you have larger stones, at the bottom, I believe it is, and then as it works up, they sort of taper in size, in shape.
Yeah.
It gives it that
So
ripply
you
look.
talked to Matt already, I'm assuming, about
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
'Cause-
But I'm just wondering
already
if there's
talked
a
to the
way we
roofing
could
guy.
double the amount of stone we've got.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it too expensive? Would it be too expensive?
Randy?
All right.
Hydrants, benches, curbs?
John, how we doing on the hydrants and curbs and? I know he's finishing up the streetlights. We kind of talked about the fire hydrant later. Any? Is that Dan? Okay, Dan, you have an update?
I do. My friend owns Miami Paint Supply. He has allowed us the use of his Bobcat or Kubota that powers our machine that we purchased with Amberley Village to clean the hydrants and do those. He came in significantly less. I talked to John this morning about it. It's about $142 a day for the rental of his, and that's just to cover his insurance of it being here. We can start that as soon as I get it picked up and brought over.
Yeah, but as I understand it now, the timing on this has to be worked out, because as you scrape and clean a hydrant and then move on, the painting guy more or less has to come right in behind it.
us.
Yeah,
So,
to,
let him finish up the poles.
okay. I'm assuming we'll get the scheduling of this all worked out. Yeah, Okay.
Is this just the pole, is this just the fire hydrants along Worcester Pike that we put in that
That's
last-
all we've got funding for right now.
Because we passed that last time, just, so that's what we're doing right now, and that's, okay.
Yeah, so after that, and we'll just have to get with Static All Pro to figure out when they get done with this, probably 2 or 3 days. And then, kind of coordinate with getting the fire hydrants prepped. As far as getting the rest of them done after that, it's $75 a fire hydrant. So there's 165 total, 164 total. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to fund that.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is, like we said last time, this is our test on the Pike.
Yep,
Along
yep.
those and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, Randy, you're up next too with assessing the parks, and I know you've also put some grants in, or
Yeah.
number 6?
I had a company come out to look at redoing the baseball diamonds so we could reconfigure those. And the Odnr grant to fund that is due. I got an email today that says it's moved from the end of June to July 15th. So we'll put that in. I did, as you know, I did put in a request to Hamilton County Development Corp. to get a planning grant for $30,000 for the Dogwood Park. We did meet with, this morning with the architects for Dale Park. And they're not that worried about that hillside. They're gonna do some boring and some things like that to find out what's going on with that. And then, we haven't started on the grant for the swim pool yet. We do have a bid to redo the baby pool. We're trying to work on some history and some narrative on that. So that's also due in the middle of July.
Okay. So that's sort of the key date there, is just the mid-July for
Yeah.
those.
And,
for the grants type thing.
Because the Centennial will address Dale Park and Dogwood Park. So, the other parks, in particular, Concourse, because John and you and I haven't even talked about that. I've surveyed it with Louise, and she's convinced that all the wood needs to be replaced. And the wisteria needs to be, it's at the end of its life cycle. So that all needs to be redone. So, we're just gonna have to, and you and I can get a bid and find out what it's gonna cost and see if we can get it funded.
Okay. So swim pool, we got a lot of different things here. The new contract going in place.
Well, the contract's been implemented and signed.
Take that off the list?
Yeah, I think
Yep.
we take that off the list. I mean, it's sort of activities that are identified by the pool commission. I mean, that's kind of ongoing, obviously. We fixed what little leaks we're going to fix. We're not fixing the big leaks, too much money. Who's going to manage the concession stand? They are. Swim Safe. Swim Safe's
So that's done?
they're going to do that.
Take that off the list.
Yeah. Longer-term master plan, well, I mean, that's still kind of ongoing.
Randy, is that really you working with them on that?
Yeah, it's similar to how we did tennis. We just got to find out, what's the useful life, what's the replacement cost, what are we looking at from a capital perspective?
Can we note that and say 3-year master plan versus long-term master plan? Because there was some confusion. I don't think a 10-year master plan is going to help us. 3-year master plan.
No, yeah.
Didn't we talk about a 3-year plan? in
We
the
did.
committee?
Mhm.
Right.
That's kind of why I want it.
Okay, so change that to 3-year?
Yeah, 3-year I think would be good.
Thank you.
Got it. Okay, next one is about improving the office space in the municipal building. Bill?
I had a phone call in today with Randy Huber again, contacting him. We're going to start with the 2 front doors. I've already mentioned this. I just need to get him sort of geared back up, come back out here, measure, look at the product, so on and so forth. That's going to be the first thing. I want to find out what that's going to cost. Then we'll move on from there.
Good.
We're also doing some work in the administrative office over there to try and diminish the mountain of paper.
Yeah.
A lot of scanning has been done and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, number 9 was the backfill. I think, actually, do you want to just assign that to the sub-finance committee, Bill, as we were to come back with a, because,
Yeah, you mean the subcommittee?
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Those were the ones that,
So it's actually, it's taking your name off that and just put.
Yeah, put
finance
yours on it.
subcommittee Yeah, because, yeah, you can put mine, that's fine. 'Cause
Obviously, I want to emphasize, obviously, it's, time's of the essence here. We really want to get moving on that.
Yep, I sent my email out with
Okay.
asking for dates and times.
Okay. Relaunch the rental inspection program. Obviously, we're working on the legislation here tonight. We had the second reading. I think we're just about to fine tune it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So hopefully that'll be done, like Ed, you were saying, in either next meeting or the following meeting, so.
Yeah, I'll work hard to get it done by next week, but I'll be gone Thursday, Friday, Monday,
Yep.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday.
Bell, you already actually referenced this bill, Randy, I think, right? You said the bell tower, that's the one you submitted the grant
And they're supposed
for?
to get started on that batting cage in the back. We did get a permit approved. They're working with Allsport to get that done. So hopefully they'll, because they're just like everybody else, they're backed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do they have a timeline? Do they have a ballpark date?
They don't, as of today, they didn't know exactly when they'd be able to get to it.
Okay. The walking path, Whiskey Creek, Kelly and Chris.
Right, so, and chime in if you want to. We had decided to focus on the area where the debris is significantly collected down by Bulk Maddox driveway. I mean, because that's jamming up the pipes, and so Chris had reached out to Derek with Beaver Creek Technology to get an idea about how much something that would cost. And because we were wondering whether we're going to try and go for a grant based on how much it was going to be. And he came back and said around 20.
Yeah, my ballpark is 25 or under.
And then, okay,
But yeah, and that's what he agreed, it'd be about $20,000 in his opinion to do that work. So Beaver Creek didn't want to do it. If we wanted to go for a grant, it would be more like, the project scope for a grant would be more like $100,000, $150,000
so-
if we're recontouring the creek. So
Which-
it seems, so he gave us 3 contractors to choose from. So I can start calling people and see what, one of them's
Yeah.
Evans and the other 2 I don't know very well, but
environmental remediation and KTI supply.
yeah.
Do we need to get the Army Corps involved?
Yeah, I was going to say, does the Corps have to come in on that
So according to
sucker?
Derek, he doesn't believe so, but he sent me a 20-page email that says, here, check this. So I did get a contact,
go.
though. That's, thank you. That I can email and say, this is what we're planning to do. Are there any worries? Stuff like that, so
Yeah.
we'll do that first.
Yeah, because I'm sure we would want to have that happen twice with the Army Corps.
Right. We're trying to maintain it, please.
Yeah.
Give us the permit or tell us how to do it if we can't.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so there's 2 options, there's 20,000 or 100,000, is that, did I hear that right?
Well, the scope,
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on the scope.
right.
Right, so right now we focus the scope just on cleaning out by Bulkmatic, and that looks to be like a $20,000 project.
Okay.
And at the time, Derek didn't think that would be worth a grant. It's just too little.
Mhm.
I guess their strong point is recontouring miles of creek. So, they would almost want to do 1 grant for the entire length of Whiskey Creek from the old lagoon all the way out to Bulkmatic. And so I didn't think we were prepared to do that.
No, not, right.
So
Okay.
we'll do the minor
That would be
fix and then-
long-term. I mean, we're not letting that go, but right now, we're going to focus on cleaning up that area. I mean, I think that's causing a significant amount of the backup that we saw down there too. So once that's cleaned up, it could change the flow of the water.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right. That, we don't need a swimming pool when we got that thing down there.
Okay, great, thank you. So
Can I ask-
Susan?
No, just
Oh.
quickly on that. Do we, in terms of contractors, again, just trying to be really intentional, make sure we have diverse contractors on any list that we reach out to. And then, well, and we can talk afterwards too, is and potentially pulling in my husband to help advise on the Army Corps piece and make sure we're doing
Yeah,
that.
that'd be great.
That'd be nice.
Okay. Parking lot light issue.
Susan can
square.
shine some light on that.
I have no light to
No,
shine
not
on
that
this.
fun.
It's on the other side of the street. No, but I think you guys were going to set up a Thursday.
Here's the issue.
day.
I mean, we've kind of gone, Margaret and I have gone back and forth. I mean, she goes on vacation, I get something to do, so we have been talking about it. We've been going back and forth. I did talk to Mr. Spinnenweber about it just briefly, the possibility of putting another lens over the one light. But, we haven't set the meet yet, because for some reason, we can't set the time. I know she's eager to do it, and I
Yeah.
do want to get back to it.
Okay. Is it possible to, we don't have to, I can check in with you afterwards. We
Okay,
can do it
okay.
offline.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a timeline you got for that, or ballpark?
Rob, we, you know, it's just one of those things, like I say, we're back and forth. You know, we've got it out there, we're talking about it, it hasn't slid off. Let me quickly comment on this Porsche Rally bit. Randy and I had, going back even before that, I initiated a phone call with Grant, sort of stating, you know, that I had some conversations with folks here in the village. There might be, you know, some interest in, you know, sort of resurrecting the Porsche Rally. He and I corresponded back and forth a couple of times. He said that, you know, he's no longer involved in it. He's taking his Porsche and going to Florida. So they now have a new, new head, a new president. And Randy and I had a really nice meeting with the guy and kind of went back and forth and sort of aired out some of the issues that were going to keep us, you know, from doing it. And, you know, I guess, you know, like I said, we went back and forth with the issues, and where did we leave off? He's going to get back to us.
He's very agreeable.
He's a very agreeable guy.
Because we told him, it
Yeah.
says, you know, as far as the police, it's $2,500. I said, we don't do it for anybody else. So he was very agreeable to that. We talked about getting portalettes to bring in, because we've had some complaints from some of the businesses.
Better
to address the
parking,
parking a
yeah,
little
better
bit better.
parking.
Maybe we get them with their trailers to park somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get out ahead of it, you know, maybe we can put their blade signs up, you know.
Yeah, earlier.
Because Rick, how many cars go by here in a day?
Oh, lots.
So, you know, to get that, to engage the community, because I think we want it.
Yep.
I think it's great
Yeah,
for the village, and it can be great for the business, so we just need to get out ahead of it, and I think we will.
we-
He's got a meeting on the 10th.
Yeah, that we're going to get back?
He's got a
yeah.
meeting with his guys on the 10th, and then Lisa Hopkins has a meeting with the chamber on the 12th.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can coordinate all of that. We have Dora, you know, there's a lot of stuff we can do.
We've got to get the local businesses, especially those right there on the square, more engaged in this. They have to participate in this. I think they're missing a heck of an opportunity. I mean, think about it. You got a very hot, warm fall, you know, day. Think what you could be selling on the square in those circumstances.
Well, and
They
you've
need
got
to participate.
a crowd
And we have a
that's,
Dora. I mean, you know, you can
well,
walk
and you've got a
around.
crowd that's in a
Yeah.
high income level.
Well,
If we set it up, I'll work with them too.
German cars, yeah, you know, there's a lot of,
Oh, right,
Yeah.
German heritage, all that stuff.
yeah. I'm more optimistic now than I was, you know, months
That's good.
ago. Yeah.
I mean, the policing was a big sticking point.
Well, yeah, one of, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So we feel like we can rectify that.
We
Yeah,
covered?
take the-
Wait,
Well, I just had
one
two
last thing.
questions. Oh, go ahead. You can, okay.
Rob's got it.
Okay, the strategic plan goes in the subcommittee, right? In terms of
Yeah.
key outstanding things. Is that, it says identify someone to assist the village to develop a strategic plan.
So we had that meeting.
Right.
Yep. So
But isn't the strategic plan being developed? Isn't that the,
it's sort of segued now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
no longer identifying the source, but developing the plan.
and when is the, yeah, and to me, that's a critical thing. And when is the strategic plan draft going to be done?
We should have it within 30 days.
30 days of last Saturday.
Okay, so that's, all right. that
So
makes
I
sense.
agree with you.
May.
We should change it. Instead of saying identifying someone to assist, we should just now go into, now we're into, because we
Yeah,
had,
complete-
Days from the 30th of April.
Yes.
Yeah, complete the
Not last
strategic
Saturday.
plan.
and
Okay.
to be clear, there's going to be two steps in that. First is to give it back to that committee that we had that met with them, have them make comments, and then after that, it'll come back to this group
Yep.
here
Perfect.
for input.
Okay, and then where does Ken Geis live? Where is that contract live?
Where does he live?
I mean, like,
This one right here.
so this says agreement with, like, are we trying to get an end product? Is there something we're trying to do? Then the only reason, again, that I ask this is if we are gonna work and assess the crown and its value, it should be done in tandem with our vision for economic development for the community. And I just don't know where that's supposed to be happening.
Well, that's a good point. In fact, Marcy and I have a meeting scheduled with Ken, I think this coming Wednesday. So we can put that issue to him. We can talk to him about that. It's about
Great.
trying to incorporate it, you know.
Well,
in.
and it doesn't have to be necessarily incorporated. The vision should help dictate what the Crown
Information.
ultimate, the suggestions are for how that path works. But we did, just what is our vision for economic development, and how is that supposed to look, and where is it gonna be taking place, and what our priorities are?
Sure.
And I don't, coming out of the strategy, I don't think that's gonna be an answer, because that was one of the things that was identified, was we needed an economic plan, an economic development plan encompassing the whole village. So we've hired Ken, I think, more to focus on the industrial zone.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
That was-
Well, we've
Well,
talked,
we're
no,
just starting him there, that's all.
no, we just agreed as a subcommittee to start there, because that made the most sense. That's all we've done.
Yeah. I mean, I think us
We
understanding what
discussed
our.
a variety
yeah.
of different options.
Right. But I think to your point, but we don't have a plan.
Right.
You
Well,
understand
but,
Ken's gonna helpfully help us,
But
I
it's not
don't
even
know.
a plan. I think I'll look at the strategic plan too and reserve questions there. But, so for example, if our plan is somehow, I mean, our vision, not our plan, but if our vision has to do with, I don't know, automobiles, right? Then perhaps that dictates certain things were done differently if we're trying to attract a certain sector, right? I don't think we're trying to, we're not trying to be, the Cincinnati Silicon Valley here. That's not the look and vibe and feel and the types of companies I think we're seeking to attract. Maybe we are, I don't know. But there isn't a vision for economic development. And I think having a vision, understanding what the lay of the land is, what type of businesses we're looking to attract, and with whether, the Crown and that development, which yields a lot of opportunities because the infrastructure is so different than, say, vehicles, which is almost always what people are trying to get, is more car traffic. And that we have the opportunity to get non-car traffic through here. But what does that business vision look like? What types of businesses are looking for places to, not work from home, but actually have storefronts, that type of thing? And I just don't know where that's supposed to exist in terms of our planning. Because if it's not in the strategic plan, that's also a little concerning. So it's like, where is it going? Where are we looking at that question of what types of businesses how are we preparing for the next 20 years? And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think coming out of the session, Bill and Kelly changed me if I'm wrong, but I think we identified there's a need for it.
Yeah.
And so, but I think we also all recognize that right now it doesn't exist, and so
No.
it's an opportunity area for us.
Right.
I'm very excited to see what his report
Yeah, I am
comes
too.
back
I mean, it's not like it's not being discussed. It is being
Okay.
discussed. I
Right.
mean, it's
Perfect.
out there on the radar for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we have something that's more concrete right now to talk about? No, we don't. But I think we're in the beginning stages of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I think again, it doesn't have to be a detailed plan, but a vision that is informed by real facts. What
Sure.
kind of businesses where's their growth, what industries have growth, what kind of businesses we can attract and support and sustain, and that we need to have at least some of that work done as we develop the planning for the Crown.
Good idea.
Which is happening this
Yeah,
year.
good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Because if we can make a mesh or make a better fit, we
Yeah.
want to do that. Yeah.
Or if the
And the
Crown doesn't align with it at all, that's good to know too,
good to
so.
know too, right,
Yeah, so
right.
that's the important questions and aligning around a vision.
Sure.
So I don't know where, I just don't know where that exists in terms of a to-do list.
Well, again, I think it's right now the Ken Geis, we're just waiting to see what he comes up, my opinion. I don't, where you guys stand on that, but I don't, we're still.
Well, I mean, that's why we're getting together with him on Wednesday to sort of, it's kind of an updating type
Yeah,
session.
I'm anxious to
Talk
get an
about-
update, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, if it's not working, we
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to do something
We'll
else.
do something else, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we need to hear.
Great, thank you.
Okay, last thing.
One last thing.
Good news. So this is from Joe Stelzer. It's a check for $17,991.
Get the heck out
Out
of
of
here.
here.
Yeah, so this is the private fund, the 501c3 that was raising money. So and Joe wrote just a real brief thing here. He said, total cost $368,000. I'm rounding here. He's rounding in these numbers. Odnr grant has covered 223 of it, and then private contributions, including Columbia Township, giving us money.
Sure.
145. Be remaining about replacing damaged program, and then some satellite drains that may need to happen. And it sounds like there's some other items too, like lock boxes and hose bibs is what I heard.
Can I have that when you're done?
Yeah. And so ODNR more money. He said the original grant amount was $1,000, so there's another $43,000 still available to us.
Yeah.
So, and he also wanted to call out, you know, again, the private contributions, there's still $29,000 left over. And he did reach out to all the donors and ask them what they wanted to be used for, and the consensus was to use it for trying to help connect the Plainville section to wherever it comes up for the library or whatever. And so to help out with grant application fees, design studies, engineering studies, grant matching funds requirements, so,
Oh, okay, so I'm clear. You say there's still 29,000 left. Where did this money come from?
That's, it says right there, it's a 501c3. This is the 501c3 where all the money was raised. Joe did a heck of a job of doing that.
Yeah.
You know, where individual citizens put
Yeah.
their money in for that kind
Right,
of stuff.
right.
So that's some of the money that was raised for that. And he said, you know, once we know how much ODNR is paid, let's fill the gap. And so he's filling the gap with the money from the
Yeah, okay.
501c3.
All right, I got you.
And like I said, and even after filling the gap, there's still 29,000 left over.
Yeah.
That was brought up before,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
been discussed. So I really think this is I think we really ought to celebrate the participation by the citizens in this stuff. There's a lot of citizens who really stepped up and put money in to help make a really huge improvement over there on Murray Avenue.
Yes.
What's going on there right now. For all the residents who live there to be able to walk to and from places safely. A
lot of walkers.
Yeah, so a lot of good things. And I do think Joe was the main driver for a lot of that stuff. So I really think, you know, we need to give him kudos for helping to push on that stuff.
Kudos.
And he was out there twisting arms and getting money for the private contributions as well, so,
Yeah, mine still hurts.
yeah. He hit everybody up, yeah. So that was the last thing I had, was just I wanted to give that check and say, here's the reimbursement from the 501c3, so.
Great.
Yay.
Adjourned.